Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here from Popternative, speaking to Makena Taylor about the thriller Last the Night. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
I mean, it's pretty exciting. The film's already out now that people can see it. Is it when did it start hitting you that what you made, you wrapped it, you're getting prepped? When did it start hitting you that people were finally going to be able to see what you were working on? Was it the week of release?
I would say probably the night of the premiere. Literally the night of.
Yeah, it's not even a couple, because sometimes I feel maybe a couple of days before and everything, but how does it feel that it's finally out?
It feels amazing. It feels great. It's my first feature that's got released in theaters and then the major streaming. So it's pretty surreal, and I feel very thankful that I got to do it, and I've been working at it for so long. So it feels really rewarding that it's finally paying off.
Thriller and horror right now is just there's some of the big releases that ever come out. It's such a big landscape right now and so popular. What's it like working on a film at a time where those are the genres to be working on right now? Is it overwhelming? Is it more exciting? What's that mindset like?
I really like that genre of thriller horror. I think it's really cool because I think a lot of people can relate to the story, and kind of it's not just about a thriller, it's more about COVID and mental health and kind of this guy that's struggling. So I feel like a lot of people can relate to it, which is really cool for me.
Oh, 100%. Without going into big spoilers, what can we expect from the film? And tell us a little bit about your character a little bit.
My character, her name's Sadie. I have blonde hair in it, so you probably won't recognize me, but Brian Austin Green plays my teacher, and I'm kind of his teacher's pet. Kind of the more mature one in the classroom, and she kind of has this different connection with him. She really understands him and has, I think, a lot of empathy for his character. And yeah, it kind of unfolds when he overhears us talking about him on a Zoom. We didn't know that he was listening in on the Zoom, so he hears us saying some things on the Zoom, and one thing leads to another, and he kind of meets us at the school where we think we're alone. We break into the school at night because it's COVID, it's shut down, and he shows up there to a surprise for us.
Is it so? Yeah, COVID is kind of involved with the movie basically, which is interesting. When did you When were you aware? Was that premeditated that was going to happen? That COVID was going to be part of the movie, or was it kind of pivoted? When was it always going to incorporate? When was it filmed? When was it filmed and written script wise?
Yeah, it was during the beginning of COVID, so they wrote it with COVID in mind, and we were shooting during COVID, and thankfully no one got COVID, so we were really lucky.
It's interesting, yeah, because I haven't seen that many of them, but they're trickling in now, movies and TV that have to do with COVID or during COVID times.
Yeah, I'm curious if people want to see that or not, because we're so over COVID, but it's still going.
Man, it was 3 years ago when it first started, where it was everything just shut, the world shut down.
Yeah, it's crazy to think, because I was one of those paranoid people in the beginning. I was freaking out,
Oh, absolutely. No, it's so crazy. A lot of content was released around there and everything. It's interesting too, and I want your opinion about this. It's do you have this mindset now when you're working on projects because of the digital age and streaming and everything, like you said, that content will always resurface? This movie, right? In a couple of months, all of nowhere, could be just picked up by a lot of people finding it on a tweet or something and then watch it are you prepared for that a little bit, that content might resurface 1 year later that and be watched more? It's interesting, right?
Yeah, I mean, that would be great if people just continue to watch it down the line, and you can look back years later. Hopefully COVID won't be a word anymore, and people will look back and watch it and maybe reminisce on, make light out of those times. Hopefully, I mean, there's a lot of dark times, but hopefully they can watch it and you know, there's two different sides to the story, so you'll see.
You're also like a fan of movies and TV too, right? Like you work as like a storyteller, but you're a fan as well. Is
Yeah.
that like a prerequisite in your opinion? Like, do you feel like you're going to be a very good storyteller because you enjoy stories as well? Like, do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah, I think I always loved stories and I always knew I wanted to act ever since I was really, really young.
Yeah.
And I think you have to love stories in order to tell stories. And I think you have to love people and the human connection and communicating. I think that's all important. I mean, I don't know how you couldn't like
Yeah.
that and act.
Yeah, no, absolutely. When people watch this film, takeaway wise, what are you hoping they get out of it? I mean, it's a good thriller. There's a lot happening. There's the horror component of it as well, even though it's
Yeah.
being kind of labeled as a thriller. But what are you hoping they get out of it, takeaway wise, McKenna?
I hope that they get something out of it and have some type of conversation about mental health and addiction. And I think that was the goal of the director, Nick Leisure, and the writer, Tom Chilcote, because, I think that during COVID, everyone was really losing their mind and depressed and isolated and really had no one to talk to. So hopefully they watch this film and they will reach out to talk to someone if they need help or, if they're feeling down or depressed or alone. Hopefully they will reach out to someone and get the help they need and they don't do what Brian's character does.
What was your mindset when you wrapped the film? Was it kind of like, okay, like this was a lot, this was intense, I need to take a break a little bit? Or were you like, all right, what's the next project? What was the mindset when you wrapped?
I think I'm always like, what's the next project? What's the next project? So that was my mindset, but I was really thankful because I felt like this character that I got to play was the first character that I really felt super passionate about. And I felt like, wow, I can do this, and I was excited for the next project. And I'm always excited to do more.
Absolutely. What is your favorite thing about being a storyteller specifically?
I think my favorite thing is being able to connect to other people and being able to tell these stories that hopefully can touch people and make people feel something, make people feel not alone, or make people feel understood. Hopefully, someone can watch it and be touched and, get inspired to do something different with their lives or change, That's my
Absolutely.
favorite part.
We're talking about a film that you act in as well, but a lot of people also go behind the camera. They write, to direct it, produce. Obviously, is acting the
Yeah.
main thing you're focusing on, but do you want to go behind the camera as well in your career?
Acting is the main
Yeah.
focus because I just love to step into someone else's shoes and being able to become someone else and bring myself to that character. That's my main focus is acting
Oh,
right now.
absolutely. No,
Yeah.
that's interesting. Some people don't like. Some people naturally just it kind of happens that they act and then they go write something and direct. But no, it's cool that like you're like, no, I want to act. That hasn't happened yet. Like a lot of people were like, at least some people were like, acting is my focus, but I'll dabble here and there. You're like, nope, I'm acting.
Yeah, no, just acting, The rest is up to the other people and they're amazing, but I'm gonna stick with acting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What kind of projects do you have like coming up? Obviously, there's sometimes you can't say what they are, but like, is now just kind of the audition time and self tapes, or is it like going back to work? Like, what time of your life is it now post this film being out already?
It's just a lot of auditioning and something is in the works, but I can't say anything.
Yeah,
So
that's the job is auditioning though, right? Like someone once like yeah, like someone once told me like the auditioning is like the job, and then when you actually like, get the job and go work on it, that's almost like the vacation because it's the fun part.
yeah, exactly. And I'm in class studying and that's a very intense class. So I'm just constantly working on my craft and I get to work in class and then I get to work when I audition. So it's just a constant learning and growing, I think.
So your life is acting. Like acting is your life.
Yeah, literally.
No, that's
Yeah.
so great. No, I mean, is it one of those things too where it's just kind of like do like there's a quote I saw once where it was like do it with passion or don't do it at all type thing. I mean, you obviously seem to be very passionate about it. Was that kind of your one thing where if you weren't passionate about it, you weren't going to be able to pursue it properly? Like, do you think about that at all?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I just knew ever since I was little, like this is what I was meant to do and this is what I have to do. And so many people told me not to. And it doesn't matter because when you have that passion, I think, inside of you and you have this like meaning that you feel like you need to fulfill, it doesn't matter. You just keep going.
Oh, absolutely. Makena,
Yeah.
thank you so much for coming on Popternative. It was so great chatting with you.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. So nice to
Absolutely.
meet
That
you.
was nice to meet you too. Can you plug away? The film is out now. Could you plug away where people could see it and then plug away your socials so people can keep up to date with everything as well?
Yeah, you can see it in some select theaters. You can search, and then also it's streaming on Amazon Prime, iTunes, Apple TV, and I think a couple other ones, and we'll see where else it will go. But for now, Apple TV, Amazon Prime, and then my socials. Instagram is just Mac Taylor, so it's MAKTAYLORR, two R's.
Awesome. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative. Previous episodes. Until next time, this is Makena Taylor and Petey Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.